Brawl Stars was released in 2017, and gaming has evolved a lot in these 7 years. Brawl Stars, like many other games, have changed to adapt to the environment around it. This caused the developers to make the difficult decision to remove boxes from Brawl Stars. To understand why they did this, we need to step back in time and talk about why boxes were so important in the game's older progression system. Boxes, when Brawl Stars were released, looked nothing like you'd remember unless you played in the very early beta phases. The older box design had much more of a Wild West theme than the game originally intended, consisting of vaults and safes. When compared to the newer design, boxes looked a lot more realistic and less like a toy, I guess. When boxes were in the game, they were a core part of the game's identity. I mean, seriously, look at them. They're very memorable in design, plus they're very important. Part of the reason people left the game when boxes were removed was because they felt they were an icon for the game and needed for it. Which isn't necessarily true, because Brawl Stars is pretty much doing just as well now as they did when boxes were in the game. To understand why boxes are so important, we need to look into what their purpose was in the progression system. Before we continue, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Thanks, helps out a ton. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers for the end of the year. Enjoy the video. Brawl Stars has not always had power points as a currency. In the beta version, they used Elixir, but they overhauled the upgrade system, adding power points very later on. Power points worked very differently than they do today. For instance, you could not choose which brawler got the power points. Back in the earlier phases of the game, when boxes were around, they would be randomly assigned to a brawler. This could be annoying because it was randomly assigned after opening a box, but was generally quite useful, as you could get a lot depending on the type of box you opened. Power points were still very important, but it was much more difficult to get them on the brawler you wanted. But there was less of a shortage of gold, because you were always trying to get the power points instead. Instead today, when you choose your power points, this added a bit more luck-based gameplay to the game, removing some aspects of strategy, which is also something the developers of Brawl Stars said they did not want. They wanted much more of the game to be based on strategy and less luck. Mega Boxes were special though. They could not be obtained with regular tokens or star tokens. They could only be obtained by spending money or by obtaining star points. Star points were very important and could get you skins or Mega Boxes. Star points were obtained from ranking up brawlers, and were not that easy to obtain before the addition of Power League, which has since been removed. Power points added more strategy to the game, because you would need to save up 1,500 just for your first Mega Box. All boxes, though, had one trait Star Drops could not compete with. Every type of box had a chance to give you gems. You heard me right. You could earn gems by opening boxes. Sadly though, when the Brawl Pass was added, this feature was removed entirely, but to replace it, the devs added gems to the Brawl Pass. But because of this, boxes felt a little bit less exciting because the best reward could no longer be obtained. Outside of Brawl Stars, you could also see how much people enjoyed boxes. There were people making Disassociated Games with boxes. These games were box simulators, which allowed people to open boxes and feel the thrill of opening them even if they couldn't really earn the rewards. When the Brawl Pass was added on May 13th, 2020, the way boxes were obtained was changed entirely. You still collected tokens, but now when you unlocked all boxes this way, this changed up progression, and you could no longer have 400 boxes stacked because at the end of the season, they'd all get automatically collected. In December of 2022, the Star Road was added, which removed the purpose of Brawl boxes and boxes from the game. Developers said they did this because they did not like the randomized progression. This change had much backlash from the community and eventually led to the introduction of Star Drops, which were very similar to boxes by the luck-based system they operated on. This brings us to today, where Brawl Stars have announced that they are bringing back the Mega Box for the Classic event. This will bring back the fun of boxes, even though it's only for a limited time. In short, Brawl Stars has evolved and so have boxes. Even if they are no longer a core part of the game, they will be of the memories of the players forever.